It's always fun to have you.
I'm pumped. Maury. I met Maury like 10 years ago. I went to a show.
You met him?
Yeah, I have a picture with him. I was trying to look for it on my Instagram, but I can't find it.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a nice guy, and I say Maury Povich. What's the right way? Povich. Okay. Oh, I was saying sometimes I say Povich.
I think you said Povich in the hall.
Povich. Which is the right way?
We'll ask him.
I just say.
I feel like he's a guy you can ask. How do you say your name? That we should all know this.
And I feel like you could just go with Maury, and everybody knows who it is. There's no other Maury.
Maury. Tuesdays with Maury. Yeah, I read that book and like got something from it.
Samesies.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna start like forgiving everyone.
Yeah. When I was in physical therapy school, like we had to learn about ALS, and I like couldn't study and focus on it, so I just I'll read Tuesdays with Maury because he had ALS.
Oh yeah.
And I failed. Because you have to know.
You have to know.
I mean, it's a graduate program, and I was I'm just gonna read this novel.
Maury Povich is in the studio, everyone. I told you he was going to drop by. It was going to happen quick. We're ready.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
That's Chris.
Hey.
This is Andrew.
Hi.
I'm
How are
Nikki.
you, Maury?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
It's so many people.
No.
So many. I mean,
7
this morning,
people.
Everybody.
Everyone's so excited about you when I
Really?
talk about you.
Yep.
It's people glow. They have a story. They have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And I learned last night from doing some research that you were a current affair guy.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I was a child when that show was on, so I didn't like.
You actually watched it?
Yes, my mom watched it and I loved it.
Yeah.
It gave me an appreciation for really
Do you remember
good
the sound?
journalism.
The
Yes,
ka-chung?
yes, ka-chung. I
Yeah.
remember all of it, but I forgot that was you, and then you became Maury Povich. It's just making the connection. I loved that show.
Well, that show. First of all, the ka-chung.
Yeah.
The sound. It came from. We always said when we started the show, we wanted to have something like the 60 Minutes clock so that if you heard it, oh, it's on, you know, and you would watch. So they put the old-time elementary school construction paper cutters, so the sound of a construction paper cutter, put with the swish of a golf club, put through a synthesizer, and that was named after my wife, the ka-chung.
It's so good.
Yeah, it used to scare
those are all such satisfying sounds layered on top of each other.
I know.
It makes sense why it works.
It was like in the day. This is like like 86. So it was the first days of synthesizing, and so that's what they use.
Oh, and it worked. I remember it. It's still that was always something my mom had on. But now, Maury, you've taken
Your
on.
mom still has my show on now. Right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh my gosh, everyone has your show on. I mean, in this room, we've Noah, both my producer and Chris Distefano. Have you been to a live taping, Andrew?
I have not, but I'm going tomorrow.
Have you all been?
But they've been to live tapings.
I was there 10 years ago. It was awesome. I was
It's
trying to
wild.
look for I got a picture with you
It's
too.
crazy.
Yeah,
it's really.
This is the tourist thing to do when you come to New York City.
I'm
Why
telling
aren't you going to
the
a Maury Povich
the
show?
live taping of my show is as good entertainment as you would ever want.
Oh, yeah.
My live audience makes the show. I mean, it's the heartbeat of the show because they go crazy.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, and they all think they know who the father is.
in my episode, when we found out it was the father, we went out of our minds. It was like the touchdown. Like it was like because before we were like, "There's no way he's the father." There's no way he's the father. And then when he was, we were like, "Woo!"
Well, Chris, you were saying in line there was shit talking.
In line, there were people in the episode that I was at, the family of one of the guy on the show, and they were like, I know he's the father. I know he's the father. And then people were like, nobody knows anything. I was with my friends. Were like, no, he's not. No, he's not. We have no frame of reference. And then when he was, like, we were just like, whoa. And they're like, I told you.
I know.
I mean,
it was great.
Vivid memories these people are conjuring just from being at your show 10 years ago. It truly sounds like such a great life experience to have.
I heard a story of an NFL quarterback, this is many years ago, said that the players would be in the locker room and they would not go out to practice until they found out who the father was.
Losing games.
Shaquille O'Neal watches my show every single day.
Wow.
And Shaq said, and what he does is he calls up all his friends and they bet on who the father is.
Great. I love it.
So fun. And Noah, I wanted to give you a second to tell Maury what he means to you. Because you went to a taping.
Yeah, so I took a TV production class in
Right.
high school. This was like 15 years ago.
Right.
And I went to a live taping of your show, and that's when I knew that I had to work in production. I was watching your stage manager, and I was just like mesmerized. Like, what is that job? I want to do something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's when you got the itch.
Yeah, and then from then on, I knew that I
So
had to
you've
work
been in
behind the
production
scenes.
ever since.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Do
cool?
you produce this show?
Yes.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Amazing. It's the best job of my life.
It's so fun. How do you I'm guessing people are having fun working on your show. How have you
Well, it's the most amazing part about that is that my producers, my associate producers, my cameramen have been there for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
People like the atmosphere, the way we work, the work environment. I started, the first talk show I did was for Paramount, and that was like 28 years ago. And I still have 5 people throughout my staff who've been with me 28 years.
Wow.
I mean, I've got,
impressive.
as they say, you sent my kids through school. Now they've got kids. I mean, now those kids are ready to go to school.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it starts at the top. I mean, people who enjoy it starts with you, and that just is a credit to you. But and the people that you attract.
I always look. It's this business is. I mean, I've seen so much in the television radio business in my life that it's easy to pick out the fools, and so the a-holes show themselves very early, and so therefore you know exactly what to guard against.
Yeah.
And so that's how I do it. And as far as like the suits, the executives,
Yeah.
there's nothing better to keep distance between you and the suits than a good rating. If you get a good rating,
God.
they don't care about you.
They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never hear
You'll
from them.
never get a note. They're your best friend.
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
the second
The
the ratings,
moment there's a
everything
dip,
shifts.
the moment there's a dip, well, we think that you ought to do this.
Yep.
Really? Where the hell have you been?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Who am I speaking to? Even. I wanted to ask you about the daily grind of doing a show. So, I mean, how many episodes are we talking?
We do
4,000? How many have you done?
Oh gosh, it's
Of the show?
between 3,000 and 4,000.
Yeah, insane.
It's amazing.
So, how many do you tape a week?
We tape 5 a week.
Mm-hmm.
We tape in Stamford, Connecticut, and we tape 3 on Thursdays and 2 on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
We work about 27 weeks a year, do 30 or 40 shows.
What is it? Do you ever reach a point where you're like, okay, again? Like, how do you muster because you never seem bored of it. How do you muster
Because I believe, even though, for instance, between the lie detector themes and the DNA themes, those are our 2 signature themes.
Yeah.
But since I came out of news for many years, I've always believed in storytelling, and I just want to find, even with those 2 themes all the time, unique qualities of every single story. And so I believe each personality has a unique quality about them, either good or bad, that I can bring out. And if I continue to do that, I won't get bored.
Yeah.
And so that's my mantra.
That's really cool. And you can tell that. That's why we love the show.
Yeah, and
We
I
bring out
and
characters.
the other thing is, and I've always said this about talk shows, and I learned this a long time ago when I first started. It's like being in a campaign to be elected. You have to knock on somebody's door. They have to open the door. They have to welcome you in. They have to feel so comfortable with you that they'll sit you at the table or sit you on the couch, and you have to become a member of that family. And if you can do that, then you got a chance of being successful. That's the way I've looked at it all my life, and I've looked on it as being an advocate for the audience. That's why, for instance, I've never known the result of any DNA test or lie detector test before I open up the envelope.
Because you're an advocate for the audience.
I don't want to know.
You're representing their experience.
Right, and I don't want to know anything more than they do. Because if I did, then I'd skew the questions in a certain way.
That's fascinating because I've hosted 2 talk shows that
Right.
didn't last past 2 seasons. And that I did feel that the audience just didn't get to know me or didn't trust me enough. There was some element of that, or wasn't given a chance to, whatever it was. But you're really tapping into something as a host, trying to approach the job like you're their advocate.
No question.
It's a really cool approach, and it makes sense why it's working.
And yet you can bring out your own vulnerabilities.
Yes.
I mean, you bring out your own experiences. I mean, for instance, I can't tell you how many times I've told various fathers, for instance, who are raising a child that is not theirs, and whether they will continue to raise that child. I keep saying, look, my wife and I have a child in our family, and I'm not the birth father of that child, and he is as close to me as my birth children. There's no difference, so you have to be able to unload yourself to the guests and the viewers.
That is extremely compassionate and makes them. That's great that you share that experience.
And another thing is that, look, there is nothing in my life that comes close to the experiences that my guests go through. I've never lived those experiences, but there's some connective human instinct that they feel safe in my company or on my show.
I feel safe right now.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel completely safe right now.
You give that air of like a therapist. Like, I don't feel.
But I'm not a therapist. I mean,
no, but you're therapeutic.
You could
just that voice.
Very
I don't know what it is.
Voice.
I just feel so good right now.
You know how much whiskey and cigarettes.
That's what I like. You sound just like my stepmom. Yeah, it's great.
You're drunk for sure. But but I still man. I just feel good. My blood pressure's low right now.
Really?
Know.
How can you tell?
Dude. I have a I'm not sweating. My heart's not palpitating. I don't feel like I'm going to pass out.
Good.
I just feel calm. I'm going to get somebody pregnant tonight. Yeah. I'm just going to do it. I'm coming on your show.
Cool.
That's the only way I can get. Yeah. All right. Great. See you in about 6 months.
Thank you so much for watching that clip that you just watched. Did you enjoy it? I hope you did. If you did, thumbs up it. Why don't you subscribe? Why don't you just keep watching more videos? Let them play. Share with your friends. Go share on your Instagram story. Go just have a great day.